Composting with worms can be a rewarding experience, but it's crucial to set up your worm bin before your new inhabitants arrive. The next step is to turn your coir brick into bedding. To do this, leave the brick to soak in 3 liters of water for 24 hours, then crumble when the liquid is absorbed. Empty into the worm bin to create a natural habitat for the compost worms. Your worms will arrive in a box, sometimes ventilated depending which worm farm you use. Inside, the worms will be inside a ventilated bag with a small amount of bedding. The worms will be entwined together inside. Empty the worms and contents onto the coir bedding and spread out. Worms are light sensitive and will burrow into the bedding to escape the light. There are various types of worm bins available. Mine is a stacking system by Wormbox Ferme du Mutter. If storing your worm bin outside, it needs protecting against sun, wind, cold and rain. My Ferme du Mutter has ventilation holes at the top, and because it is stored outside, I cover with tarp, lifting a section to allow airflow. If rainwater gets inside, you'll find the worms clingy to the sides of the bin as they try to escape wet conditions. Composting worms need oxygen to survive, and ventilation holes provide this. Remember to monitor moisture levels and add carbon materials like newspaper to maintain balance. A pH balance of around 7 is recommended. What if the reading is lower? The worm bin has acidic conditions. Foods such as citrus or too much coffee grounds can cause acidic conditions. Some people add onion and citrus foods to a worm bin, but these foods are on the prohibited list. Add lime or crushed eggshells to offset against the low pH balance. A higher reading indicates a lack of oxygen, so it's important to turn the bedding and food often. When choosing composting worms, consider tiger worms. In America, these are known as red wigglers, European nightcrawlers, or Dendrobaena worms. It's recommended you buy 250 to 500 grams, but as worms quickly reproduce, I feel you can start with as little as 50 grams of composting worms. Eventually you'll notice small yellow eggs. As the eggs mature, the color transforms into a maroon. Inside will be several baby worms. Expect some initial escape attempts, but address any ongoing issues promptly. Never feed your new worms in the first 2 weeks. It can create excess heat, cause protein poisoning, and attract pests. They won't starve. Worms will eat the coir bedding. I made the mistake of feeding immediately, and as the picture shows, 4 died and look misshapen. The reason is from either overfeeding, acidic conditions, or protein poisoning. They're foods that are toxic for your worms. The onion family, citrus, meats, oils, spice, pet food, cooked food, and dairy products. Safe food are fruit and veg, but be cautious of tomatoes as too much causes acidic conditions. The contents of tea bags are safe, but the bag can often contain plastic which is dangerous for your worms. Crushed or powdered eggshells is ideal and can also provide grit for a worm's digestive system. I sprinkle crushed eggshells over the bedding and working tray weekly. Worms eat about half their body weight daily and can survive several weeks without additional food. A moisture mat encourages worms to climb upwards. It also helps prevent as protection against fly and bug infestation. The mat is the same as we use for hanging baskets. Alternatively, add plenty of newspaper on top of bedding and working food trays. I'll be using a sheep wool blanket from Catkins, a cat food delivery service. To summarize, never overfeed your compost worms, prepare the coir bedding correctly, keep check whether too wet or dry, feed your worms safe food. But problems will occur. I've filmed mine for video 40. Why not follow the Worm Gang on YouTube? Thank you for watching.